Have you ever felt like your house has a mind of its own? Well, you're not totally wrong. See, it's constantly fighting a battle, but it's not against you. It's against the climate. We're going to pull back the curtain on this secret war happening inside your walls. The battle for comfort.
I mean, come on, it's the classic homeowner nightmare, right? The heat wave hits 95 degrees, and that's the exact moment your air conditioner just gives up. It feels like the worst luck, but trust me, there's a very real reason this happens. Okay, so let's get into it. I want you to think of your HVAC system, your heating and cooling, as a soldier. It's out there on the front lines 24/7, defending your home from a relentless enemy, whatever is happening outside.
And to really understand this war, we need to see it in action. So we're going to use Bloomington, Illinois as our battleground. It's a place where the climate shows absolutely no mercy. The crazy weather swings there are the perfect example of the kind of stress your system is under, really no matter where you live.
So what do these climate attacks actually look like? It's so much more than just a hot day or a cold night. Let's meet the specific enemies your system is fighting tooth and nail against.
First up, we've got that thick, suffocating summer humidity. This monster forces your AC to run non-stop, not just to cool the air, but to literally wring the moisture out of it. It's like telling a sprinter to run a marathon and then do it again the next day and the next for weeks on end. It's just brutal.
Then, on the other side of the calendar, you get those brutal, sub-zero winters. This is when your furnace or your heat pump is pushed way beyond what it was designed for, running constantly just to keep your pipes from turning into icicles. This intense pressure is exactly when a small, worn-out part is most likely to finally break.
Now for a sneakier opponent, dust. In a place like central Illinois, you've got all this agricultural dust just floating around, and it gets into everything. It clogs up your system's air filter, which basically forces your furnace to breathe through a coffee straw. It starves the whole system of airflow and puts a massive strain on the motor.
And get this, the battle isn't just in the air. It can actually come from the ground under your feet. The constant freeze-thaw cycle of the soil can make your home's foundation settle and shift, and when that happens, it can literally pull your ductwork apart, creating huge leaks that bleed all that expensive heated or cooled air right into your walls.
So when your system starts losing this fight, it doesn't just go silent. Oh no, it sends out distress signals. The trick is knowing how to read them, because these aren't just little quirks. They're your system's SOS calls for help.
Okay, here's a big one. You look at your air conditioner in the middle of July, and there's a block of ice on it. Now, most people immediately think, oh, I need more refrigerant, more Freon. But that's almost never the real problem. The real culprit here is an airflow problem. A frozen coil is almost always a dead giveaway. Remember all that dust we were talking about? It clogs your filter, not enough warm air moves over the coil, and boom, it freezes solid. It's a symptom, not the disease itself.
All right, let's flip over to winter. It is 10 degrees outside, you hear the furnace kick on, but the air coming out of your vents is cold. This is another one of those classic SOS signals, and it points to a very specific kind of failure.
So what's actually happening? Well, the fan is working, but the fire just isn't lighting. And the most common reason for that is a tiny, simple part, either a dirty flame sensor or a cracked igniter. These parts are small, but if they fail, your furnace is basically just a big cold fan. No heat for you.
So, when you get one of these SOS calls, you're faced with that big, expensive question. Do I repair this thing again, or is it time to replace it? It's a huge financial decision, but there's actually a pretty simple formula that can help you make a really smart choice.
It's called the $5,000 rule. It's super simple. You just take the age of your system in years and you multiply it by the estimated cost of the repair. If that number you get is over $5,000, it is a very strong sign that you're better off putting your money toward a new system instead of just patching up an old one that's on its last legs.
Let's run through a quick example. Let's say your system is 15 years old, and it's going to cost $400 for a repair. Okay, so you multiply 15 by 400, and you get $6,000. Since that's over the $5,000 line, replacement is probably the smarter financial move. It helps you avoid throwing good money after bad.
Now let's say you do decide to replace your system. This is so important. You have to get it done right. There is a huge, huge difference between a contractor who just guesses and one who actually follows professional standards.
You see, a lot of companies still use some old-school rule of thumb based only on your home's square footage. That is just pure guesswork. The real professional standard is a super detailed analysis called a manual J-load calculation, and the difference in the result is just night and day.
Think of it like this. That rule of thumb gets you a t-shirt in small, medium, or large. A manual J calculation, that gets you a custom-tailored suit. It measures everything: your insulation, how good your windows are, how leaky your house is, even which way your house faces the sun. It does all that to figure out the exact size system your home needs. This prevents getting a unit that's too big or too small, which, by the way, is the #1 cause of an HVAC system failing early.
Okay, so we've covered the battleground, we've decoded the SOS calls, we've talked about what the pros do. So how do you actually help your system win this thing? Well, here's your playbook.
All right, let's boil it all down. These are your key takeaways. Number 1, recognize that the climate is the enemy. 2, learn to read those warning signs, like a frozen AC or a furnace blowing cold air. 3, use that $5,000 rule to guide those big repair or replace decisions. 4, if you get a new unit, you have to insist on a professional manual J calculation. And finally, and this might be the most important weapon you have, schedule regular maintenance before the extreme seasons hit, not during.
When you really think about it, your system is on the front lines, fighting for your family's comfort every single day. So the real question is, are you giving it the backup and the supplies it needs to actually win?